I like to say, Asil, that when we work with you, it's fascinating for me because I'm so used to holding the Stargate field. And when we work with you, I'll feel the field become like a rocket ship where it starts to just lift and elevate and like highly specific, these alignments that come through. So can you say a little bit, because this is the third accelerated ascension we're about to do. In the past, there have been these ascension templates that have come through. And so one of my questions for the guides today is, yes, please give us an update on the ascension process for humanity, but also, what are we ready for now?
I think that was one of the most interesting things when we did our first accelerated ascension in Costa Rica, when they started to talk about these ascension templates. And they said that in the human design, from the beginning, there was templates that would activate when the energy levels would be at a certain strength, at a certain frequency, where they would basically be turned on. And that gives us almost like a greater capacity to be able to receive and transmit, and also the way to perceive reality and create reality. So in some ways, it's like you've been driving a car forever and suddenly you find out there is a secret button somewhere in there that allows it to go faster, better, smoother, and maybe even fly.
And have like a whole new navigation system.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was quite fascinated by it. And we had a lot of people, like from our community, and I believe from your community as well, that said that was very different than anything we've experienced with you. So in some ways, whatever we co-create in that space and whatever the guides can deliver in that space is different than what we normally deliver in our, individualized works.
What we've noticed over the last year, and really specifically over the last few months, is the way that Alcazar is working with us now. For years, he's been building up this energy with the Stargate family and teaching us, training us how to hold a field together. And what's been happening more recently is the very way that he's been presenting the energy experience has changed. And you'll get a taste of this when we do the meditation. But what he's doing is he's taking us into a deep space through relaxation, through simply being. And the way that he talks and the energy that comes as he's talking is gently moving us into this place of relaxation where the influence of the mind kind of moves into the background. The mind doesn't necessarily stop, but it slows down. And we start to experience something else because it's the mind and the constant chatter that's keeping us separate from our reality. And as the mind slows down, and as we, how can I say it, as we tend to ignore the mind, just allowing it to go away in its background, as we ignore it, then we focus on the stillness and the relaxation. We find that we are going into a deep space and we don't even notice it until we start to come out.
Well, for me, like, what's fascinating about this shift in the Stargate work is clearly we're ready for something totally new. Because in the past, it's been an energy experience, which has been beautiful, and it still is. But what Prageet is describing with the silencing of the mind, it's essentially allowing for this depth of connection plugging into universal mind. And so the Stargate is now becoming truly a consciousness experience.
It's magical. And what it's doing is preparing us individually for our own personal next step. Because that silence allows the openness, the experience, and the guidance from your superconscious self and others to actually reach you. As Alcazar said, the guides are always there. And it's us that puts the barrier around us through just simply the mind chatter and the belief of how inadequate we are. We cannot really yet accept that we're multidimensional beings, that we can expand and hear and communicate with the guides, and that we can start to consciously create our own life experience. We still believe and live as if we're victims of what's going on around us. And that's actually never been the case, but it's been our choice to be victims. And now we can choose to take control, responsibility, accept who we truly are.
So what I'm getting right now is that it's almost as if humanity is waking up from a bad dream. and the beauty is that this waking up from the bad dream means that suddenly you have control over your inner state. And you start to be able to access bliss and rapture and joy and insight and conscious creatorship in this way that truly we're here. This is one of the things Alcazar says is, yes, we are here to experience being human. We're also here to learn how to create in this reality.
Yeah, it all resonates. And the one simple premise, which has always fascinated me, because in the spiritual landscape, there is a subgroup that basically operates, the more complex it is, the more interesting it is. Therefore, it is more spiritual. And I'm somehow of the opposite.
Us too.
The more advanced means the simpler. And if you master the simplest, then you have reached levels of great conscious awareness, expansion. And it kind of also aligns with yogic, Vedic, and Buddhist and Taoist traditions. Like the masters say, we know nothing, the less I know, the better it is. The 0 point of pure presence is mastery. And I feel that more and more to be true. Because I used to be thinking, oh, I need to sound interesting. I need to give people something, for their minds, something to feed on so that they can feel like they want to go on that journey. And now I'm noticing more and more, it's really that how deep of presence can we achieve together, where we are synchronized in resonance and frequency, and that allows for a baseline for this expansion to consistently occur. And the more we do that, the stronger the internal alignment gets, and the further we can go. And the more connections we can receive, the more energy we can receive, and the more of that we can be delivering in our presence. And that's been fascinating to witness for me personally, and also for many of our community members. They basically say the work is getting more powerful, but also more gentle.
That's so true with this silence with the mind, with Stargate too. And this is what Alcazar is saying is the awakening process is not about hard work anymore. In the past, it was needed to break through the unconsciousness. Now, it's really about relaxing. And in that relaxation, there's the part of us that has already been enlightened. So he says, like, it's just relax and remember. Because before you became human, you came from enlightened civilizations in the stars. There's a part of you that absolutely remembers the awakened state. And I think that's why you're all watching. That's why I'm here. I have zero doubt about that. There is a part of me that is 24/7 vibrating with a kind of craving for higher consciousness. And when we come together, like we're going to do for this accelerated ascension 3, it's like we can create a huge tidal wave that lifts us all up. And just like surfing a wave, like it can move you further and faster.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine this giant surfboard where all of us are sitting on and a giant tidal wave behind us. Yeah, it sounds both beautiful and terrifying. I'm just kidding.
It is beautiful and terrifying.
Well, we're right on the ocean in Slovenia.
That's
so we can do some,
right.
yeah.
There's very gentle waves on that ocean.
That's true.